What the hell is happening in the welterweight division? I couldn't tell you, but maybe he can give us some insight here. He joins us now, I believe, on Skype as well. Let's go to Colby Covington. I knew he was going to do it. I knew it. How are you doing, Mr. Covington?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on the show so I can come back and make the MMA Hour great again.
Yes.
Has anyone thanked you lately, Luke?
Say again?
Has anyone thanked you lately?
No, I don't get a lot of thanks.
Well, I want to just start off by just giving you a thanks. Thank you for your service. It's the holiday season. We know that war doesn't take a holiday season. So thank you for protecting our freedoms, and thank you to all the men and women in the service.
Now, I do appreciate that. Certainly, you can see my Marine Corps pictures up here. Thank you, Colby. I appreciate the genuine sentiment. All right, man. First of all, let's get to it. What the hell is going on at welterweight? Let me just start from this sort of basic position. Why is it so hard to make a fight between you and Tyron Woodley? What's going on?
What's going on at welterweight is, the same thing that's been going on for the last, year or two is I've been waiting for the UFC to send me a contract with Tyron Woodley's name on it, and he's not sending the contract. He's been kind of ducking and waiting. He's trying to pick his spots. He's trying to, go to TMZ and still have that title as champion. So, he's just trying to get these cameos over in Hollywood. He doesn't want to fight, man. He's not here to make the welterweight division great again like myself. So that's what's going on. I'm waiting for him. We're fighting next, Luke. I don't care what it is. I've been building it. This fight has built itself the last 2 years. Or let me stop. I built this fight for the last 2 years. This fight sells itself. It's the next fight. It doesn't matter if me and Tyron Woodley fight in the UFC or we fight in the CBS. I'm fighting Tyron Woodley next.
Okay, let's start with this. Your health. You had, sinus surgery in October, right? How are you doing today? Are you fully healed? In other words, let's say everything changed, bout agreement comes down, you could sign a bout agreement today if it came to that?
100%. I'm 100% now. I'm over my sinus surgery, and I also had a little ligament tear in my foot about 2 months ago. So I'm 100% healthy now. If they send a contract with Tyron Woodley's name today, I'd be ready to sign it. So, obviously we want a full training camp for the fight. A good 8 to 12 weeks would be good notice, not try and do it last minute. But as of today, I'm 100% healthy, ready to go for Tyron Woodley.
Did that ligament tear in your foot affect things at all?
Yeah, it did affect things. I had to take a little time off. I did it in sparring. I came back sparring and I threw a kick and it landed on the guy's elbow. So, it did affect, but I got the rehab. I went to a doctor in Miami, thanks to, Dr. B. And I went down there and, I was doing the foot therapy, the stem cell, the ultrasound and everything. So now I'm back to full health and I'm ready to go.
All right. So let me then see if this makes sense. Is UFC 233, which would be the end of January, is that on the table as far as you're concerned?
As far as I'm concerned, yeah, it is on the table. I would fight Tyron Woodley there, but, I can't speak the same for him. I know we don't agree on a lot, but we do agree on one thing. We are fighting each other next. He wants to punch me in the face, but that's not going to happen. These moves right here, he can't punch me in the face. He's not going to be able to touch me. So, that's what it is.
At what point can you no longer fight at UFC 233? And again, I don't mean health reasons. I mean waiting on this. At what point does that no longer become an option? And I guess the other option is what? UFC 235?
I don't know. How many weeks is that out right now, Luke?
I couldn't tell you offhand. A while.
No, for UFC 233.
Oh, that's January 26th. So we're talking about, 6 weeks-ish, something like that?
6 weeks-ish. I mean, I don't know if that's the ample amount of time for a real champ that he deserves to get a fight. All these other fighters, they get 16 weeks. Daniel Cormier, some of these guys, Cody No Love, those guys were getting 16-week training camps, 20-week training camps. So, I am America's champion, and I'm willing to put it all on the line, just like our servicemen and women, to protect our freedoms and make UFC great again. So if that's what the UFC wanted to do with me and Tyron Woodley, yes, I could go do it in California.
Now, I don't want to speak for Dana White, but it sounded like he was frustrated, number one, generally with the title situation. And number two, if I could be candid, Colby, it did seem like he was a little more so upset with Tyron, obviously, which we'll talk about in a second. It did seem like he was a little bit mad at you as well. What is the state of y'all's relationship?
Oh, you know what? Me and Dana White, we've never really had a relationship. I leave that between him and my agent, Dan Lambert. They have a relationship. They do the business. I'm here, he knows, Dana White knows what's good for business. I am what's good for business. I'm the biggest fight in the division right now. I'm the numbers. That's why everybody's calling my name. They want to fight me. They don't even want to fight anybody else. They want me. So, I just keep Dana White, like he is who he is. I am who I am. I'm doing what I'm doing. He's doing what he's doing. I'm not focused on what he's doing or what he's saying. I'm focused on what I'm doing. And I got one thing to say, just like Scarface said, I got my balls and I got my word, and I don't break them for nobody.
Fair enough. Do you believe, how do I word this question? How about like this? Is the acrimony, is the difficult relationship independent of you? Let's put you out of the equation for just a second. But just the inability of Tyron and Dana to get along, is that also impacting this and impacting you? Like, it's not so much about making this fight per se, but just those two, they just can't see eye to eye, and that's slowing everything down.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been the wrench in everything. I've been ready to fight Woodley, for over a year now. They've tried to put that fight together multiple times, 3-4 times, and he's put his tail between his legs and went running. So it's definitely affected. But the thing is he has a disputed belt. His belt is disputed right now. So he knows I'm the next fight. He knows he needs to dispute that belt, and we need to fight. So it doesn't matter if they have a bad relationship. I'm what's good for business, and once I get finished with Tyron Woodley, we can move on from that saga. That 47-year-old virgin is going to get retired.
Sorry. Okay. You caught me off guard with that one. He does have 3 kids, I think.
So? I'm 47.
I'm just speaking on his behalf, if I may. Okay. The acrimony is certainly not good for business. Do you side with, you must side with Dana, right? You must side with Dana in the nature of his disputes. Like the fact that for example, you must side with Dana when he complains that Tyron Woodley doesn't fight enough. Yes?
For sure. 100%. I mean, it's obvious, like the thing about it, when I fought Ralphie Dos Nachos in the United Center, by the way, there were 16,000 screaming fans on their feet. And he came out and he was like Mick Jagger, when he was walking out to that arena. He's probably pissed off, Ralphie Dos Nachos, walking out to 500 people that they had to give tickets away last weekend in the Pearl. So, but besides that, I don't side with anybody, but I do know that Tyron Woodley doesn't fight enough, because after I fought, he hadn't fought in, a year, 13 months. That's why they made the real belt, America's belt. And then all of a sudden he wants to fight 14 months later, which is 2 months after my fight. And he knew I had to get surgery. So he was trying to get me when I wasn't healthy. So, he's a pick and chooser. He wants to pick good times. He wants to get, a lot of fights that he's fought in the past. Damian Maia, he got him on 4 weeks, 5-week training camp. He made him come in unhealthy. So he's a strategic player. He's trying to pick and choose his dates, and fight once a year and go to TMZ, do his cameos in Hollywood and go on, but that's why I'm here. I'm gonna get rid of him. I'm gonna drain the swamp, and then I'm gonna make this division great again.
What about Kimura Gooseman? He has been calling you out so far as to call you Colby Duckington. If they made an interim title fight with him, is that appealing to you?
Everybody's calling me out, Luke. Why do you think everybody wants to fight me? I'm the money fight. I'm the biggest draw. I do the biggest numbers in this division, and it's not even close. There's a reason all these guys want to fight me. They don't want to fight Tyron Woodley, because I'm the biggest fight and the biggest draw in the division. I've only hit the tip of the iceberg, Luke. I got so many tricks up my sleeve. You haven't even seen my promotional tactics yet. Just wait till I have what I have in store in the future.
Can you give me a hint?
I can give you one hint that I am the Neil Armstrong of MMA, only fighter to ever go to the Oval Office and hang out with our sitting president, Mr. Donald Trump, the greatest living American. I don't know if you remember. You probably didn't see that because the UFC didn't post it on their page, but I can tell you one thing. It's the biggest history and the biggest moment in the sport of MMA history.
Do you think if you fought, Donald Trump would come to see you?
I talked to him about it in the Oval Office, and I don't think he would come see me, but he would definitely be tuned in. I'm Donald Trump's favorite fighter. He will be watching, but, it's too much of a risk to go to a fight. Just if people knew he was coming to a fight, the place would 100% get bombed, by all these Hollywood liberals. So, it wouldn't be a good place for him. But Donald Trump Jr., I'm sure his son would come. We've reached out and he wants to come to my next fight. So the Trump family is completely behind me, and they're excited to see America's champ and just keep, making the division great again. And Trump 2020, baby, we're just getting started. The best is yet to come.
How long are you willing to sit out to wait for Tyron? Because at some point that works to your disadvantage, right? Like a little bit of time off to make sure the right fight is coming. Okay, that makes sense. At some point, though, you get some pretty diminishing returns. Is there some kind of a drop dead date where you're just like, you know what, I need to get back in there. I got to get paid. I got to, as you put it, make the division great again?
Nope. I'm waiting on Luke. I'm waiting on Tyron. He's on borrowed time. He's the only person I'm fighting. I'm young, Luke. The best years are ahead of me. He's old. He's at the end of his career. I'm just getting started. I've just barely begun this journey. So as long as it takes to fight Tyron Woodley, we have unfinished business, Luke. I've been selling this fight for years. This is the only fight to make. I don't care. I will find him. I'll go to St. Louis. I'll find him in a CVS in St. Louis. I don't care. I'm going to fight Tyron Woodley. I've been beating his ass for years in the training camp. There's a reason he doesn't want to come back to American Top Team anymore. I'm the king of American Top Team. I'm the king of the welterweight division. And soon the division will be great again. Just bear with me, Luke. I'm sorry. It's not my fault. I'm not the one holding up. Blame Tyron Woodley.
Are you what do you make of the concerns? Let's say they make a fight between you and Woodley. It headlines an event, whether it's 233 or 235, let's say whatever it is, that you're mentioning that the promotional tactics have another level that they could go to. At what point does it begin to get ugly and bad for MMA?
At no point can it get bad for MMA. I mean, we were at our lowest point like a couple months ago when that sheep lover Khabib jumped out of the cage and put innocent people's lives in danger. So, at no point will everything sells these days, Luke. So, but let's be honest. Have you seen a bigger fight in all your years of covering MMA that has a bigger buildup and that's more wanted than me and Tyron Woodley?
Yes.
Yeah, which fights? I mean,
Jones Cormier 2.
Okay, one fight, maybe a couple fights, but it's definitely in the top 5 of all time.
Don't get me wrong, Colby. Don't get me wrong. Everybody wants to see this fight. No, maybe no one more so than me. It's a phenomenal fight. It's the right fight to make. But I don't necessarily think it's out of place to be concerned that the tension could boil over into something kind of ugly. You're noting that the tension boiled over at 229. I guess what I'm wondering is, don't you agree that's too far?
No, I don't think that is too far. I think that people live in safe spaces these days, so they don't want to deal with the controversy and the drama. But at the end of the day, all this drama and controversy, this is what everybody wants. This is the drug that they're needing. They're addicted to this. I'm addicted to winning. They're addicted to drugs and other things, but they're also addicted to this fight and the controversy that sells this fight. So I don't think you can go too far promoting these days. When I fight, people are going to watch me fight, Luke. They're not going to turn the channel to Real Housewives of OC like they will other fighters. So, there's not anything that doesn't promote, and you can't go too far in this business.
Let me ask you about Kimura Gooseman one more time very quickly, if I may. He had some of the same opponents you did, Maia, of course, and then Rafael dos Anjos, what was it, 2 weeks ago at this point? What did you make of his performances?
I didn't make much. Let's be honest. When's he going to fight a ranked fighter that's coming off a win, Luke? Those two guys he fought, they were coming off some of the worst losses of their career. Maia in a pool of his blood in his home city. He was so concussed. I remember seeing him backstage. Oh, my head. Oh, he was all concussed and messed up, man. I saw him in the training room when I was with the doctors and stuff. So, these two guys were coming off soul-taking wins to me. So he's taking my sloppy seconds. Good job, You haven't earned anything. You haven't done anything with your life. This is the real belt. I earned this against a great fighter that was on a winning streak, not a guy that just came off a loss. So it's a different confidence level for those fighters, and they're mere images of themselves now.
Here's the one thing I have a little bit of difficulty squaring. You and Ben Askren are both MAGA guys, right? You guys are both big Trump supporters, but y'all can't stand each other. Now, it's a little simplistic to say that everyone who shares a political ideology should all be friends. I think that wouldn't make sense. But it would seem that two people who have the same profession, same world, mostly the same worldview, can't get along. Why not?
Is that guy in the top 100, Luke, in the rankings?
I couldn't tell you. I haven't looked at. I can tell you in just a second. Is he even ranked? I don't know.
That guy was fighting in Asian bingo halls, Luke. He couldn't sell out in an Asian bingo hall. Just like all the other guys, they want the fight with me. I'm the biggest fight. He's begging to fight for me. But quite frankly, it's an easy fight. The guy, he's scared to get hit. He got his ass beat by my teammate, Luis Sapo Santos, and then he started cheating and poked him in the eye. So, the guy, he's not a good fighter. He hasn't beat anybody that's ranked in the division. He doesn't have a belt like myself, a real belt, the UFC championship belt, America's belt, the people's belt. So, I'm not worried about him. They can all call for my name. They all want this. They're all thirsty. They're all thirsty for the Colby train. They want this. They know I'm only going up. They're at their peaks. They know that if they fight me, it'll be the most amount of money they make to get a losing paycheck, Luke.
Who's better, Askren or Usman?
Askren for sure. Usman's a D2 guy. His wrestling's not that good. Askren will take him down and beat him up. So I would say Askren over Usman, but both fights stylistically very easy for a fighter like myself or Tyron Woodley.
What's the ring you got? I noticed you got a big ass ring on your right hand. What is that?
That's my national championship ring, Luke. It's the same. You know what's crazy? You know who else has one of these rings?
Who?
John Jones.
Is that from Iowa Central? Yeah.
Yes, sir. I got the Tritons back-to-back national champions. Got my name embroidered on the side, Covington. National champion, baby.
Wow, that is a crazy. Is it heavy?
It's pretty heavy, man, but it's not as heavy as this belt. This belt is very heavy.
Now, I've noticed, Colby, you've never one to shy away from beefs. In fact, you know this as well as I do. You certainly seek them out. You made a disparaging comment about Habib. I've seen your John Jones tweets and everything else in between. Here's a serious question for you. Does that not, at some point, all the beefs get a little exhausting? You say, oh, maybe not. It seems like it doesn't.
Luke, not at all, man. This is business. I'm doing business. So, I'm doing big business. I don't have any problems with it. This is just who I am. If you hate me, that's cool. You're going to tune in and you want to watch me. You want to see me lose. You want to see me get knocked out. But you want to see me fight. And for these other fighters, all the fans, they're in the middle. They don't care to see one or another fight. They're invested in me. They want to see me. They're thirsty for my blood. They want to see me lose. But it's not going to happen, Luke. So they can keep waiting the rest of their lives until they're old in their graves. And I'm going to keep, being America's champion and unify my belt soon with Tyron Woodley.
All right, before you go, be honest with me. Last time we spoke, this was like, God, what was that? 223 when you came to my radio show, the pre-fight show, and we were talking about some of the threats that people have made against you. Have they gotten worse or stayed about the same?
They've gotten way worse, Luke. They're at an all-time low. I thought Brazil was a piece of crap country. I thought that place was a dump full of filthy animals, but let me be honest. They've gotten worse. The Hollywood liberal snowflakes, man, they got feelings worse than the Brazilians. So they're sending death threats, bomb packages, all the works, the ugliest in people, you see that come out now. And, they're going to continue to happen. I get thousands of them every week. And, I'm going to continue to do what I do, keep winning. And these guys can't stop me. Nobody can stop me, Luke.
Certainly can't. I'll tell you what, Colby, I really hope they make this fight sooner rather than later. It needs to be made. It's good for the division. As you noted, I will agree. It's the fight that everybody wants to see. It's the fight that needs to happen at welterweight, right? Like, they can't move forward in the right way without it. So keep us posted. I hope you guys get the word about that. And thank you for your time. And there you are. Thank you, Colby.
Just like Donald Trump said, and just like Dana White and the UFC promised me, Donald Trump's slogan, promises made, promises kept, baby. Good talking to you, Luke. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Colby. I appreciate your time. Thank you, buddy. There he goes.